Beloved children, my precious, precious children, can you hear me? Not with your ears, but with the quiet place behind your heart, the place that aches for meaning, the place that feels too small for the world's noise, yet too vast to be filled by anything the world offers. I am speaking to you there. In that silence. I come tonight not as a statue, not as a painting framed in gold, not as a distant figure in an ancient story. I come as your mother, the one who has wept for every child, who has rejoiced in every act of kindness, whose hands have trembled holding the hope and the fear of all humanity. Before a single other word finds its way to you, I need you to do something for me. It is a small act, but in the realm of the spirit, the small acts are the pillars of mountains. Pause right now. Let your finger rest. Let your breath settle. In the comments section below this video, I ask you to type a single word. Hope. And then, tell me the city, the town, the place from which you are listening to my voice. Let us create not just a comment thread, but a living tapestry of faith. Let us light a chain of candles across the globe, from New York to Nairobi, from Sydney to Seoul, from the busiest metropolis to the quietest farm. Let me see you. Let me bless your specific corner of the world tonight. And if you wish to walk this path more closely, to be part of a flock that supports one another, join our WhatsApp community. The link is waiting for you in the description. It is a sanctuary, a place to share burdens and miracles, to build a strong community under the mantle of a mother's love. You do not have to be alone in your seeking. Now, my children, draw close. Listen with the soul you were born with. Tonight, something sacred is being prepared. A hinge is turning in the unseen world. Do not think of frightening Hollywood spectacles. Think instead of the first fragile contraction before birth. The universe holds its breath. Grace is not descending like a thunderclap, but like the gentlest of dews, seeking not to shatter the blade of grass, but to adorn it, to give it strength for the morning sun. But you must be ready to feel it. You must be awake to receive it. To be ready is not to stockpile supplies in a bunker. It is not to decode cryptic dates or to look for signs in the angry headlines. To be ready is to make your heart a fitting cradle. Let me tell you what a cradle looks like. It looks like forgiveness, given especially to the person you believe least deserves it, and that includes yourself. It looks like a silence you consciously choose for 5 minutes to simply be, and let the static of your mind settle like dust in a sunbeam. It looks like the phone call you have been putting off to the relative whose voice brings you tension, not to argue but simply to say, "I was thinking of you." It looks like the dollar given to the stranger, not with pride, but with a secret joy, as if you are both partners in a hidden game of kindness. This is how you polish the cradle of your heart. This is how you make it soft and warm and receptive. I know the weight you carry. The mother in Port-au-Prince watching her child sleep, wondering where the next meal will come from. The father in Kiev holding the fragments of his home in his hands. The teenager in Tokyo or Los Angeles, drowning in a loneliness that 1,000 digital connections cannot touch. The nurse in Chicago, weary to her bones after another double shift. Her hand still gentle as she holds the elderly patient's hand. The farmer in Kansas, looking at the unpredictable sky and the uncertain markets. His faith tied to the land. See you. I have stood in your shoes. I have known poverty that forced a long journey on a donkey while my body cried out for rest. I have known the terror of a powerful ruler seeking my child's life, the desperation of becoming a refugee in a foreign land. I have known the piercing confusion of watching my son, my beautiful boy, speak words I could barely fathom, walk a path I could not always follow. And I have known the sword that pierces a soul, the ultimate wrenching agony of witnessing innocence crucified by the world's hatred and fear. So when I say I understand your pain, I do not say it as a platitude from a stained glass window. I say it as a mother who has had her heart broken by the very world she loves. And yet, I am here to tell you that the story does not end in the brokenness. The night is always darkest just before the dawn, but the dawn is a promise etched into the fabric of creation itself. The sacred event tonight is not about the world ending. It is about a new way of seeing the world beginning. It is a subtle but monumental shift in the light. For some, it will feel like a sudden, inexplicable peace descending in the middle of chaos, a quiet so profound it feels like a sound. For others, it will be a dream so vivid and true it will feel more real than waking life, a dream that leaves not fear, but a resolved courage upon opening your eyes. For many, it will be a simple, crystalline moment of connection, eye contact with a stranger that feels like recognition, the sudden, overwhelming beauty of a tree you pass every day, a verse in a book falling open that speaks directly to the unspoken question in your heart. These are not coincidences. These are the tender fingers of the divine, brushing against your cheek, whispering, "I am here. You are not forgotten. You are so deeply loved. But you must be watching. You must be listening. You must have created that space within." Think of my own life, children. The first sacred announcement came to me not in a palace, but in the quiet of a simple room. Asked for my consent. Let it be unto me according to thy word. The revolution of all human history began with a young girl's yes. Your yes tonight is just as powerful. Your yes to hope, your yes to kindness, your yes to believing that love is the final, truest reality. This is what aligns you with the sacred tide that is rising. Do not look for the miraculous in the burning sky. Look for it in the softening of a hardened heart. Look for it in the courage to apologize. Look for it in the decision to turn off the stream of anger and vitriol and instead listen to a piece of music that lifts your spirit. Look for it in the active choice to see the dignity in every person you meet. The tired cashier, the impatient driver, the political opponent, the family member who hurts you. This is the real preparation. This is the making of the cradle. The world is groaning, yes. It is groaning in labor pains. But what is being birthed is not destruction. It is a revelation of unity, a revelation that the separation you feel, from God, from each other, from your own true self, is an illusion. The sacred event is a thinning of that veil. It is an invitation to step through. I must speak plainly now. There are forces that do not want you to be ready. They are not monsters with claws. They are quieter, more insidious. They are the force of incessant distraction that keeps you scrolling past the moment of grace. They are the voice of cynicism that mumbles, "This is nonsense," and closes the heart. They are the weight of resentment that you cling to, thinking it is a shield when it is only a chain. Tonight I ask you to lay those burdens down. Just for this one night. See what happens. Go to your window. Look at the moon or the clouds or the city lights. And say, aloud or in your heart, "I am here. Am open. I am willing to see." That is your prayer. That is your yes. And if you are feeling this, if these words are resonating in that deep, quiet place within you, the place I am speaking to, then you have a role to play. You are not just a listener. You are a carrier of this light. And so, I have a request. A simple, tangible act to anchor your intention. Please, take a second to subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell. By doing so, you are planting a flag. You are declaring, "My heart is open to more of this. I choose to be part of a community that seeks the light." You are telling the algorithms of this world that content of spirit, of hope, of true nourishment matters. You help this mother's voice reach more of her children who are sitting in the dark, longing for a word of comfort. Hit that like button below. Let it be a physical sign of your inner yes. Let it be a small echo of my fiat, my let it be. Now let me tell you what this sacred readiness can look like in your daily, ordinary, magnificent life. Imagine a man named Michael in Detroit. He works on an assembly line. The work is monotonous, his body aches, and he worries constantly about layoffs. He carries a quiet anger, a feeling of being invisible. Tonight, after hearing this call, he doesn't know what to do. So on his break, instead of scrolling through news that angers him, he just sits on the bench outside. He feels foolish, but he breathes. He looks at a sparrow pecking at a crumb, and a thought enters his mind, clear as a bell. My worth is not in my productivity. Feels alien, this thought, but it brings a tear to his eye. That tear is the sacred event. His heart cradle just received a drop of dew. Imagine Sophia, a high school student in Miami, drowning in anxiety about grades, college, her social media image. She is curled up on her bed, headphones on, the world a blur of pressure. She hears this invitation to pause. She types "Hope Miami" in the comments, feeling a little silly. But then she puts her phone away. She picks up a notebook, the paper kind, and writes one true sentence. I am afraid I am not enough. Just seeing it there loosens something. She writes another. But I am here. That small act of honesty, that turning toward her fear instead of running, is the sacred event. The veil thinned. She felt her own soul, and it was not a failure. Imagine David and Elena, a couple in Phoenix. Their marriage has become a series of logistics. Kids' schedules, bills, silent dinners. The love feels buried under rubble. Tonight something nudges them. Instead of turning on the TV, Elena says, "Remember when we used to drive up to the canyon to look at the stars?" David, surprised, just nods. They get in the car. They don't talk much. But under that vast starry sky, his hand finds hers. They don't fix anything in that moment. They don't solve their problems. But they remember. They remember the us that existed before the weight of the world settled. That memory, that reconnection, is the sacred event. Love breathed anew in the cradle they made by choosing each other over distraction. This is what I mean, beloved ones. The sacred is not out there. It is seeking to be born in here, in the manger of your own lived experience. My son's birth was not announced to emperors first. It was announced to shepherds, men who lived in the fields, who were weary, who smelled of earth and animals. The divine erupts into the ordinary. Always. It is happening tonight. So prepare your cradle. Go to your comments now. Type hope, and your city. Let us build this visible communion. Let me pour my blessing upon your specific name, your specific home. Subscribe and ring the bell. Commit to this path of awakening. Align yourself with a stream of grace. Share this video. Not for fame or numbers, but as an act of spiritual charity. Send it to the friend who is grieving. Send it to the family member who has lost their way. Send it to the one you sense is carrying a silent pain. Be a shepherd announcing the good news. You are not alone. A mother's love surrounds you. Something beautiful is possible tonight. And finally, tell your own story. In the comments, share a miracle you have witnessed or experienced. It doesn't have to be a parting of the Red Sea. It can be the miracle of a sudden peace, an unexpected provision, a healed relationship, a dream that guided you, a coincidence that was too perfect to be chance. When you testify to the light, you increase the light for everyone. You make the path brighter for those walking behind you. The night is deep, my children. But I, your mother, am watching over it. I am watching over you. The first rays of a dawn you cannot yet imagine are already touching the edges of the horizon of your soul. Something sacred will happen tonight. It is already beginning. Be ready. Open your heart. Yes, I am with you. I am always with you. Until we meet again in this space of grace, know that you are held, you are cherished, you are infinitely loved. Now go in peace, go in hope, and prepare for the gentle, glorious dawn. Amen.